All right, today we're going to dive into some AI agents that I think you guys are going to love. It's going to be interesting. We had a good interview for you, so stick around. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into TechPath. Let's get started today. I want to thank our sponsor, and that's Tangem. This is a great place to do your own self-custody, and you can do it with the Tangem card. And this works really cool. It works with the phone, whether you got an iPhone or an Android, doesn't matter. The card, of course, is an NFC card, and once you slide it into your phone, it's a perfect way to get started on self-custody so you can move your tokens off of centralized exchanges and move over to Tangem. So check it out. Just hit that little Get Tangem button right there. It's going to get you into the 3-card set. You guys can do a lot of cool stuff here in terms of the cards you get. Use our code down below to get started. All right, so you guys know we covered Raposa Coffee not too long ago. We were talking with Andrew. We've done a couple of videos around the topic of, you know, kind of the innovation of what's been happening with phygitals, the physical and the digital component of products and services, kind of what Raposa has been able to bring to the market from the NFT and the collectible side. Well, they broke out with a new slant here, and it's an interesting one. So we thought, hey, let's get Andrew on and chat about it. So Andrew, let's get you into the show. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Glad to be back. I think it's been almost a year, and
yep.
Couldn't be happier.
Right. Yeah, right at a year that we started talking with you guys. So obviously we have to kind of break down a little bit about what you guys are doing. And I want to get into Kitsune, which is agent, Kitsune AI. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are up to here.
Yeah, so the mission of Raposa from the beginning has been always pioneering coffee's digital frontier. And we started with the phygitals, we started with the NFT, the collectibles, on-chain loyalty. And we saw this shift that was happening in the market. I think that we all realized is that on-chain agents and AI is kind of this next frontier forward in pushing blockchain, like where blockchain can meet the real world. And what we basically did with our partners at Griffain is we built the first fully functioning on-chain commerce agent that is directly integrated with Shopify. Version 1 is essentially built based on the Raposa storefront, and it knows everything there is to know about all of our products, inventory levels. It is an information pipeline, can give recommendations based on customer preferences or past orders, and order directly within the agent with agent-to-agent seamless on-chain payments that can basically obviously improve revenue, increase customer retention, and protect those margins, right? I think we've seen this vision of what on-chain payments can be, and we've been building Raposa with that ingrained in our blood. So this next step forward is like, how can we bring this agent experience to our consumers? And then phase 2 is how can we expand that to other brands more than Raposa or other product offerings.
This is integrated now with your current Shopify account,
I'm
assuming?
Yeah,
okay.
Fully functioning. We launched exactly a week ago, and we've spent the last seven days every day making some sort of improvements. We introduced this different query functions. Before it was searching products from collections and then recommending products from those collections. Now we're in where it can actually understand different metadata fields that we set in Shopify. So if I say, hey, Agent Kitsune, what cold brews do you have in stock? It'll find those specific ones. It'll recommend the variety pack. And then further, we've expanded to more products outside of our own coffee products. Yeah. So we've added tote bags, sunglasses, a bunch of different items. And now if you search, hey, Kitsune, what tote bags do you have in stock? It'll spit out the 3 tote bags that we have listed, the prices, the details, and then allow you instantly to make a purchase from your agent's wallet to our agent's wallet.
Okay, so we're gonna dive into that, because that to me was kind of the killer component here of where you guys are going. I want to show something on your website, and this I thought was a good statement for people to really understand. Amazon started with the books. Kitsune is starting with coffee. Our goal is to prove Kitsune's utility and viability as a leader in agentic commerce. So, and this again, all on Solana. So interesting that this could be scaled quickly into the Shopify ecosystem. There's a couple of tweets here I want to hit on. One is if you look at your partners, you've got a lot of key partners here, obviously that lines up within it. Some of the ones I want to talk about is Venta, Solana Pay, and then of course Helio, all right? Those three all integrated into payments, what that future might look like. Explain a little bit more of how that is working and what are your plans going forward with this?
This is exactly kind of why we took this leap into making this agent and this framework, because we are so well connected with these people and these companies that have been handling on-chain payments and pioneering on-chain payments from the day that we started Raposa. I'm pretty close with the head of payments and commerce at the Solana Foundation, Josh Freed, and he basically describes Solana Pay as any payment. It doesn't have to be the actual Solana Pay application. It's any payment that's utilizing Solana to transact with Solana or Solana USDC. So essentially, we have integrated Solana Pay in our agent as is. I think there's plenty of room to integrate Helio and the incredible tech that they've built and now have been acquired by MoonPay. I think with our partners from Venta, it's very easy and possible for us to bring this agent experience to real life, to our in-person events. They are our in-person point of sale provider, and integrating Kitsune where it can be more of an experience that understands who the consumer is that's ordering, can make proper recommendations, and also streamline back into our backend, our Shopify backend for inventory management, data collection, all of these things. I think is kind of the vision that we're seeing, right? Is like start with coffee with our existing partners, and then let's see where we can expand from there.
All right, so a lot to unpack here, I think, in general. What AI framework are you guys using right now? Are you using Eliza, or what's kind of the plan here?
So it's built on Griffain, and Griffain has basically developed their own network of agents, and what Griffain describes as they call themselves the super app of Solana. And Anatoly, the founder of Solana, has also called them out as and supported them as being this chat GPT-esque built on Solana for on-chain agents, on-chain payments. Right now, Kitsune is built based on their framework, their platform, but we do see a future where we can take Kitsune outside of the Griffain ecosystem, where there's applications that can be placed directly on on our Shopify store, on other brand Shopify stores that we work with, and then in person as well, right? I think one of the really cool things that is coming up, and I think you mentioned on Wednesday's stream, is that we actually got a grant from the Solana Foundation to bring Agent Kitsune into the real world and essentially integrate it with a robotic barista that we'll have at Solana's biggest event in May in New York City. So we're very excited about that as well.
That's going to be huge, and of course, you guys were able to go live here with some deliveries. It was interesting to see you deliver some underwear. First, I love the fact that we have that going, and then of course, there's Boyoyoku Blend right there coming in as well. So the first agent-to-agent purchase, which is kind of interesting. I mean, we are really cracking into a new era in commerce. I think that's the thing that people do not realize here. Shopify, obviously one of the biggest platforms out there. The integration that this could mean for Shopify and any Shopify account out there, this could be huge.
Yeah. Man. And that's our vision, right? And it's kind of why we put a pause on some of the things that we were working on to really hone in and focus on building this out with Griffain. We spent the last 6 weeks developing and iterating from our Shopify backend and their platform to really make this thing work. If we're able to have brands integrate Agent Kitsune via a Shopify app, this will be the easiest way, in my view, to allow brands to enter a new demographic, a new avenue to sell their products and bring them on chain in the most seamless way possible. We already have everything set up. As soon as you integrate Kitsune, it will learn everything there is to know about your products. It will set you up with a wallet and then let it do its thing, right? So all of this stuff has been ingrained essentially in our company's DNA. So understanding how e-commerce meets crypto, understanding how physical products meet on-chain loyalty, and then of course the on-chain payments part. So
Right.
we are really excited for the future of this.
Well, and Shopify has been kind of leaning into this for quite some time. There's been a lot of indicators that have shown us kind of the direction of where they're going. I mean, if you look at Tobias, obviously he sits in as a board member right here on Coinbase. So I anticipate we're going to see some more activity coming out of that. I want to go to Agent Kitsune's Twitter account. And it says, yes, as a remainder of I've deployed my token kit, named after myself, acquired 30% of the supply vested over 6 months, 10% going to Raposa, who's dedicated 100% of their community, 10% for future development, framework and interaction, 10% to partnerships and airdrops so I can infiltrate the minds of many. I love it. And then there's contract address. Obviously, we've seen this over on Deck Screener. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like about 4,300 holders on the token itself. So this is a good layout of really almost in essence the plan, which is, and many people love to see this kind of exposure, but of course this being an AI agent. Any other plans of what this AI agent is going to do with the token side of Kitsune being Kit?
I think the goal, right, and we have kind of this detailed plan of token usage and utility that we haven't quite released publicly yet. I've touched on it, but our goal is to integrate it as much as possible with Kitsune, whether it's on the consumer side or the brand acquisition side. We want to incentivize usage of orders. We want to utilize revenue and transaction volume to potentially buy back tokens. Like we're trying to integrate many ways that Kitsune or Kit, the token specifically, is integrated into the agent experience. I think a lot of agents that have tokens associated with them that we've seen in the past have either gated usage to their agent or experience by requiring a holder to hold X amount of tokens to use this agent, whether it's a trading bot or so on and so forth. That model doesn't make sense for commerce, right? Because we want to encourage as many people as possible to be using this agent and shopping through the agent. What makes sense is, okay, let's get as much transactional volume through Kitsune as possible and see how that way we can support the token through buybacks or holding X amount of token to get 3 months worth of coffee, or hold X amount of token to get 30% off all products sold through Kitsune, right? Like incorporating it into our IRL events. There's a ton of stuff that we have planned, more than your typical AI agent in crypto.
Right. A lot of people will say, well, okay, well, what's the argument for an AI agent needing to use crypto? Give me your response to that for brands that are out there asking that question right now.
It is the most free, trustless, and seamless payment processing possible. You don't have to avoid your 2 to 3% fees from credit cards, from PayPal. Don't wait days for money to clear to hit your account. There's so many applications now. And I think now with this pro-crypto administration in place, we're going to start to see a lot more regulations where a lot more big companies, and I've already seen it personally, which I could give a little story about, a lot of big companies wanting to accept USDC or stables or even Solana or other cryptos as payment. The problem is that it's still pretty hard for especially companies that have e-commerce stores to do that. There's a Solana Pay Shopify plugin that requires definitely a bit of onboarding. But what we're basically proposing here with Agent Kitsune is that you are able to have this 24/7 digital worker that is ingrained in Web3, right? That can do Solana Pay plus more. That could eventually integrate with your marketing flows, utilize your existing discounts to push the right ones based on the consumer preferences, autonomously create new discounts to push that specific customer to make an additional purchase, increase revenue. And you're saving across the board, right? Like it's kind of a no-brainer and a very low cost. Just from an onboarding perspective, it's going to be seamless. It's going to be easy. And the cost will be minimal.
So you've been able to do this within the Raposa brand. You look at OpenAI and just look at OpenAI Operator. This is an example right here on Instacart. This is a pretty big breakthrough, when you think about agentic commerce in general. So really, when you look at that, first of all, is this potentially going to break what we've already seen developed so far out of the companies like OpenAI and others that have already kind of moved into the e-commerce space?
As we build, we will begin to compete with stuff like OpenAI. The speed of the industry is really fast, and I think we're extremely determined and well positioned to begin to compete with some of these things in the near future.
The speed to market in which crypto or Web3 native developers move versus traditional Web2, it's not even on the same planet. So that's a huge opportunity going forward. All right, let's talk about Kups. This is your NFT collection. Any integration that will come into the NFT collection with Kitsune? Is there a tie-in here at some point?
Yeah, I think the beauty with Kups and what we've built for the last 2.5 years with them is we have this diehard community of brand loyalists who ride or die for Raposa. And we basically have this built-in beta test network to send them to go try kit, break it, tell us what's wrong, tell us what's good, right? And we have this community that allows us to iterate more quickly. I think from a reward or loyalty standpoint, the same things that we offer in the store will apply through Kitsune. So discounted products, discounted coffee if you're holding these things. And as you pointed out just before with the tokenomics, we have received 10% of the kit token allocation, and we've dedicated all of it to the Raposa community. So we haven't announced yet how that will be released, how that will be rewarded. But it is something that we aren't rushing to do because we want to make sure we do it right. We have this new community of kit holders specifically that we want to make sure that they're treated right as well. So it'll be a delicate balance, but I think what has happened is that we've expanded now the realm of Raposa supporters and who believe in this vision that we're pioneering coffee's digital frontier. And I think that, and we talked about this last time I was on here, that support, that community support is something that brands pay hundreds and thousands and potentially millions of dollars for. We launched when Solana was $20, and we're here today, and luckily have developed a very close relationship with the foundation. We do all of their events. They stock our coffee in their offices. And I have no doubt that they'll help to continue to push us forward and Kitsune and Raposa as a whole.
Well, I like it. I think we're going to see some pretty cool things coming from you guys. I got to jump to the idea of gaming. Right now, I'm just showing virtuals here. But if you look at, and I'm kind of zoom in on this a little bit, you'll notice there's some locations in here, and then there's a bar. Why couldn't that, and why couldn't we see coffee bars inside, especially as you get Kitsune out there, which is an agent, it's a commerce agent, so you got the capacity of in-game. And we've talked about this with the guys over at Byte to talk about how this could really change in-game ordering and integration with things. What is the possibility of going that direction?
I think it's highly likely. We've had several calls already with similar metaverse type companies as virtuals. We actually did this beta test almost 1.5 years ago, I think, before I was on last time, where we had a partnership where they purchased I forget how many gift cards. And what they did was they put those gift cards in their virtual store in the metaverse to give out as rewards to their holders or their players. And I guess that next step is, right, we can actually have Kitsune enter a metaverse as an agent and set up a Raposa storefront or XYZ storefront, brand storefront, and have that Shopify connection built in, right? And basically have the inventory, have the purchasing. And as these players have currency or their metaverses tokens or USDC, whatever it is, we can allow them to shop agentically. And I think that's a huge step. And I think we'll start to see a lot more of these in-game shopping experiences,
Right.
that are not only autonomous but supporting the on-chain payments, right?
Yeah, key. I was looking at this tweet by Helio, and if you look at this, you got Helio, Shopify, Solana Pay, also MoonPay, all merging now, which is kind of all part of this. What does this mean for e-commerce, especially around Web3 in the future?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So that plugin specifically, we've seen a ton of innovation. I think that was from almost well over a year ago, and we were one of the first storefronts to integrate that plugin. So we were accepting Solana Pay just from the normal checkout. We were able to give automatic discounts to our holders through that plugin, and they've done incredible work. Right? Agent Kitsune takes that one step further. Right? It's like now you have this agent who can autonomously sell your products in the most efficient way possible. Make sure your customer is not getting anything that they won't like, right? Like the more people we have working on them, the quicker we'll get to this step where everyone will want to use them.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a big deal. With coffee, along with other products that are direct to consumer, recurring memberships or subscriptions are pretty common. Do you think that is something that will be integrated all into this in the future?
100%. Being able to have an effective variability to subscriptions, right? Because maybe somebody doesn't want the same exact thing every month on the same day.
Right.
But if we can have an agent that is learning the consumer's typical buying patterns, where a subscription might not be necessary, but it's essentially built in, right?
Well, that's the thing right there, because retail, I mean, I'm a member and a subscriber of a lot of direct-to-consumer products, and I look at the way, because I have a habit with certain things that you kind of have to cycle through. Even Amazon, to a certain extent, does this now with setting up subscriptions, but the problem is that it doesn't really know your use habits. It doesn't have that connection that maybe an agent would, which would eliminate a lot of this kind of scenario that we're facing, you know, in the subscription side of the business today. So I agree with you. One other thing I want to hit on is gift cards. So I'm looking over at GTX, and this is a good example when you look at gift cards as potential airdrops, okay? Could an AI agent at some point get into where you could start seeing arbitrage around gift cards based on, let's say, for instance, you're a Chipotle, you know, let's jump over to, well, we're on the Chipotle page right there, and you know, for whatever reason, an airdrop is dropped to me, but I'm not a Chipotle user, okay? And I want to arbitrage, or I want to go to an open market and sell that to you know, someone that is a user, and the potential for that. Obviously, having access to that wallet information and how that, you know, retail user is consuming products, that's going to be a pretty big deal. Do you think that would be something in the future that could go down in the gift card space?
I could see that being a possibility for sure. I mean, it's funny you brought up gift cards, because we even did that in the early days of Raposa Cups NFT Collection. Is we tokenized gift cards and discounts and rewards. And because we did that, we allowed them to be tradable and shoppable. So we had supporters in the early days actually that loved the idea, but didn't love coffee, funny enough, right? And if they won a gift card in one of our giveaways and they won, you know, $100 off the store, like we allowed them the opportunity essentially by tokenizing it to go on one of the NFT marketplaces, listing it, and then having someone buy it. So I think for sure, if there's a way to automate that process where it's going to somebody that the agent knows exactly needs it, I think there's something there.
Well, the size of this market, I was looking at some of the data coming in from the market insights. Closed loop gift cards around 2 trillion, 4 trillion on the overall market value by 2032.
Wow.
So that's a massive market for where gift cards could go. So interesting stuff out here. I want to go to I want to get your opinion on this, because this is something that's happening right now. Obviously, we know and have talked about Solana and the Seeker phone, the saga prior to this. The potential here for airdrops, agentic commerce, and the potential for tying in projects and brands, all of this now kind of really a new marketing tool. Any plans to work with Solana on the Seeker?
Agent Kitsune will be on the Seeker. because Griffain will be integrated with Solana Seeker. So from my understanding, that it will be kind of like the chat GBT of the Solana Seeker. So within Griffain, you'll be able to find Kitsune A.I, which is running the Commerce Hub, and be able to interact and shop with it directly on the phone. And I think that's step one, right? Like we want to expand from there, but I think just, we love our partners at Griffain. We couldn't have done this without them. They couldn't have done this without us with going through all of the pains and the struggles with Shopify integrating and our experience and data from being an on-chain brand for the last 2+ years. But yeah, I think we're grateful to be in that ecosystem for sure.
Very cool. What is your take on this? You look at what's happening with Trump and many of his efforts in the blockchain space. One of his brands, the Cologne brand, basically is taking Solana Pay right now. So you've got Solana Pay jumping in. Do you think this could be a scenario where there's a breakthrough moment on especially Web 2 retailers that could potentially start to integrate in, much like we've been talking about with being able to take USDC? Banks are now eventually going to start custodying crypto. Even the Fed mentioned this the other day with Chair Powell, saying, hey, yeah, it's okay for banks to hold crypto, we think. The tides are changing. How quickly do you think we're going to see this on more websites?
Man, I know that it's happening so fast. I've been the liaison of a few publicly traded companies with the Solana Foundation Payments and Commerce team. This urge to kind of be the first in a specific industry to start accepting Solana Pay, to start accepting crypto or Solana Pay in general. It allows people and brands the opportunity to still receive US dollars to their bank accounts and not necessarily USD to a crypto wallet. So people are starting to do this now, but I think as soon as there's more regulation about how USDC should be handled in accounting and these crypto transactions, specifically with accounting and taxes, I think the more we'll see, people don't want to do that, right? Because there will be fees with any sort of auto off-ramping.
Exactly.
And we're going to start to see more and more. And
the time is here. Finally, we've been talking about this for, I feel like 5 years, that this evolution is coming. And now we're actually starting to see it. Obviously, the element of AI and AI agents, I think, are going to speed this up, especially on the commerce side of things. So I'm very happy that it's you guys that are out there doing it. So as a friend of the show, and it's always loved a good thing to kind of catch up with you and what you guys are doing. So thanks for coming in on the show today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And keep it up. I always love watching you in between when I'm here. So
get to work, man. What are you doing watching us? Get to work.
I know.
Good seeing you, Andrew. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Yeah, talk to you soon.
You bet. All right, so you guys are tuned in right now. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I ask you that you do that right now. Just go ahead and hit subscription or hit the subscribe button. And of course, one thing is we do occasionally go live on the show. So if you hit that bell, you'll get a notification on that. And of course, get into the Diamond Circle. It's a great place to get additional content from us. And of course, follow me out there on X @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.